You may have anxiety, but it's okay. That's humanly natural. I can give you an example of, my own personal experience. But before I do that, I just want to tell y'all, I really was about to make a video about attachments today. But the inspiration that I was watching, he said the word anxiety, and out of nowhere, a spark of enlightenment just came to my head of sparking me to want to do this concept of video today. So anxiety is something as a human that we all deal with. And if you ever hear anything in the background, excuse them. I do have people over. They, doing their own thing, and I just don't want to, disrupt them as well. But anxiety is something we deal with as humans, and it's natural. But I had a friend tell me 2 years ago, one of maybe the best statement in person that I ever could have received, and it might be universally known and renowned. But my friend told me that anxiety is just simply the fear of the unknown. Okay, he said that you're having anxiety because it's something along the lines that is startling you that you haven't felt or experienced before. And I thought about that. I was like, man, you right, bro. Because from my own personal experience, I feel like, with these type of videos, you can drop down below what you've been experiencing, how your life been, and how you've been dealing with anxiety has been going for you. So for me, I remember I turned 18 years old. And if you truly know me, I've told this story before, and I've spoke on the anxiety that I have. When I turned 18, life was just so good. I remember everything I wanted to do, peak athleticism, everything, finna get ready to go to college. Just went to my first college orientation. Then everything changed. I remember I was watching a Lil Uzi Vert perform at Rolling Wild by eating chicken salad, a sandwich. And I remember it was a lot of my mother cooked, and I'm just eating all of it, just eating everything. And I just remember out of nowhere, I felt a weird sensation in my body, and instantly I panicked. And the further story, I ended up having an anxiety attack, a panic attack, to the point my heart rate was racing like at over 100. And I remember, you can feel it, because, I've been an athlete all my life. A normal heart rate, for me is around 60 something, 68, 70, somewhere in there. I haven't been as running as constant as I have to that point in my life. And it has definitely, I don't know if it fluctuates. I'm not, a cardiologist. So basically, I remember my dad was telling me, calm down, bro. You're having a panic attack, calm down. And my mom was like, you do not want to go to the hospital. And she was like, they're going to charge you. Mom was like, okay. But I'm like, man, I feel like, I don't know. He was like, my dad was like, bro, there's something going on in his heart. You got to take him. So they take him to the ER. They ran an EKG on me. Sent to a cardiologist. I ended up going there. And long story short, they said I had a unique or irregular heart rhythm. But they was just like, it's common in black men, but it also just maybe the rhythm that my heart beats at. And my dad was telling me that now that he thought about it, he remembered something similar happening to him when he was around my age. He was like, I probably got it from him, the anxiety and fluctuation, palpitation, everything. So I ended up being fine. Because, you gotta realize everything is mental. So, but from that point all the way to about December, I was, very stressed out. I was in my first semester of college having fun, but I had moments where I would just get sharp pains. I'd just be feeling like I'm finna die. I'd be having the most weirdest sensations. I couldn't even describe it at the point. So my mom used to be like, it's stress. Other people used to be like, my granny used to think it was just because I left home. Basically, I was just having a lot of stress, and people didn't know the issue. And what healed me was a sigil. I'm not gonna go into depth on that. Do your research on a sigil that I, burned into the universe. And from that, and I went home for Christmas break, and I needed it. And I got my mental back right. I was having weird sensations in my ear, but that's what, I remember, this is childish of me, but I remember the show called Regular Show that everybody know. You look it up if you haven't seen it. Talked about how Skips had a very bad, stress, and it was about to kill him. They said stress can kill you, and like that was kind of my first experience with it, and it was just pure anxiety. And to this day, I stepped in it. It kind of, that moment of time, I can't really describe it. It kind of changed how my body operates now. Like my dad even told me, once you hit a certain age, your body changes. And my body has changed ever since 18. Before 18, nothing's wrong. So like, even when I use the bathroom, it's a different feeling. When I do certain things, it's a different. When I'm in the heat, I feel, tingly. It's different, but I'm still the athletic me. But I can tell that my body is older. You can't, I feel sugar rushes and stuff like that, And basically, that was my first experience with anxiety. You can ask my friends; they'll tell you, like, I used to feel like I was gonna die. I mean, I smoked weed for the first time on top of what I was going through. Bro, I was just tweaking, like it was bad. And basically, I just wanted to say, when I talked to my friend about anxiety, he told me, he was like, the feeling I thought about my situation is real, because not knowing anything about what's going on will spook the H out of anybody, especially if you're not informed or you have a master teacher that's just teaching you about life. But it's kind of funny, a person like me making this video, because a lot of people view me in a certain light. Like some people view me as this so confident, cocky dude. And even I experience problems like this. Even sometimes when I'm around a bunch of people, I go to functions, parties with a lot of people around my age, I still get anxiety because there's a lot of people. They're all looking, like when you're walking up with us and y'all like in group, and it's a big group, eye contact. I'm getting better with a lot of stuff like that. Like even me, but then you gotta settle in. But a lot, talk to friends about, they told me they experienced the same thing. Or some people, but view me as, the supreme guy, or some people don't at all. But it's just funny because, we all experience things. But I also realize I am at my best when I am perceived as this confident, cocky dude, because you can feel like the exerting of like the energy that I'm giving off. And yeah, I gotta harness that said, which is me. All of this is me. It's just harnessing those thoughts and that mindset about you at all times, in which, recently I've been in that mindset, But basically, I've met a lot of people in my life that deal with anxiety. I have friends, family. It's natural as a human to feel this anxiety, this fear of the unknown. But you also gotta remember, unknown is good because you don't know everything in reality. You're always gonna learn to the day you die. And even when you die, there's so much you're gonna learn once you transition. So you should never be afraid. When you got it, for how I master these feelings, when you feel these emotions and feelings inside of you, calm down, relax, and just let everything be. And then you will end up, getting to a point in the headspace that is good. I'm not gonna say you're gonna master your anxiety unless you truly put the work in, the years and time, meditation, everything to do it, but you can have control over it. And all you gotta do is take control of your mind. The first law in the universe, mentalism, manifestation, a law of attraction, everything, creation, imagination starts up here. And once you get that under control, I promise you're gonna be fine. And I don't wanna talk your ear off. I just wanna give you some words of advice.